Good morning, class. How are you all? Okay, so we have already completed our previous chapter of this unit. The first chapter, you can say, Cell, the Unit of Life. Now we are moving on to our next chapter, chapter 9, Biomolecules. Okay, so listen carefully and uh, write the important things which I am going to explain you in this video. Okay, so watch it carefully. So let's get started. What is biomolecule? First, you should know the meaning, all right? So, bio means life, okay? And molecules means the molecules which are associated with life, okay? To understand this concept, I'll give you a simple example like nutrients, okay? We take food daily, right? And that food contains some essential nutrients. You have already studied in your previous classes also. What are those nutrients? Like proteins, carbohydrates. When we take pulses and meat, we get protein. We take rice, chapati, we get carbohydrates. Vegetables, we get vitamins and minerals. Fats like butter, ghee, oil, okay? So like this. But all these nutrients are obtained through outside source, right? But in our living tissue, in our living body, whether the plants and the animals, we have also some kinds of biomolecules which are exactly the same, okay? So but how can we prove that living tissue also contains biomolecules? There is an experiment to show this. The experiment is called as chemical analysis, okay? And in this analysis, what we do, we take a small portion of a living tissue. It can be a plant organ, okay? And it can be a animal tissue like liver, part of the liver, okay? So what we have to do here, we have to grind that tissue, okay? It's really very interesting. We have to grind this tissue, but like if you have already heard about the thing, like we have mortar and pestle, okay, in labs which are able to grind the products, okay? So but after grinding, we have to keep this tissue in an acidic solution. And that acidic solution is having acid, obviously. And that acid is this acid. You can see the structure here, Cl3, chlorine 3 atoms of chlorine with one carbon and COOH. You have already studied in your previous class, right? Class 10 about the carbon compounds. So COOH means carboxylic acid, right? So this full compound is known as trichloroacetic acid. We will keep this grinded tissue in this acid, okay? Then obviously what happens? We'll get a thick slurry, okay? After this, we have to strain this solution with the help of some sieving device, okay? And we have to use cloth, okay? We can use cloth and other thing also. So after straining, what will you notice, okay? You will notice, suppose this is a test tube, okay? And you are straining the slurry in this test tube. What will happen? Some of the substances, okay, they will remain in that cloth, right? Those substances which remains in the cloth, that are retentate. They are called as retentate. Retentate means those which are acid insoluble. That means they didn't mix with the acid. That's why we will call them acid insoluble fraction, okay? And those substances which comes or which gets poured through the cloth and they comes obviously inside the test tube, they are called as filtrate, okay? And that filtrate is acid soluble fraction. That means in this acid that is soluble, that's why it came down, right? And always notice that this filtrate now which we obtain, it is actually what? Organic compounds. Now what are organic compounds? Organic compounds are those which contains carbon, okay? Very important. Our human beings also are made up of this carbon, so that's why we are organic. Plants, animals, everything, every organism is made up of carbon, okay? So that is the thing. Carbon is only not related to coal and all, okay? So remember this thing. But why we did this experiment? What is the purpose of this experiment? The main purpose of this experiment is to learn about these compounds. What are those compounds which we get from this experiment? Okay, to know their molecular formula, to know their structure. Okay, that is the main purpose of this compound. So basically, if we talk about biomolecules, so all these molecules which we obtain here during this process are called biomolecules. Here's the definition: the molecules that we get from the living systems. That is important. That's why I told you bio life. Okay, so this is the definition. Now next is, we have basically two different types of biomolecules. We will never consider only the organic substances to be the biomolecules. Okay, so biomolecules are not even organic, but also inorganic compounds are considered biomolecules. Okay, organic, though, you know that all carbon compounds, right? But what are the inorganic compounds? Inorganic compounds are like some elements: sulfate having sulfur, phosphorus, it will make phosphate, calcium, magnesium. So in molecules sometimes we have these type of elements. That's why we call them inorganic, and that is also the part of the biomolecules. Okay, so remember this. Now there are some important biomolecules which we are going to study here. Okay, what are those important biomolecules? See here, amino acids. Okay, you are going to study about the structure of amino acid. Then nucleotide bases, we will discuss these one by one. Okay, fatty acids, monosaccharides, like that. Now remember one thing. What is that? See, these amino acids, now actually this is the functional unit. Functional unit, like suppose there is a chain or a necklace, okay, made up of so many pearls, right? That chain or a necklace having so many pearls, it is what? It is a macromolecule, bigger molecule, right? But it is made up of a single pearl. So you can say that single pearl is amino acid. And when we join different amino acids together to make a bigger chain, it always forms protein. Are you getting me? Okay. So the simplest unit, that's why I called it simplest unit. It will join together so many amino acids to form protein. Exactly the same thing here. When we join simplest thing, which is nucleotide compound, okay, it always forms DNA, RNA. Okay, so these are the bigger compounds or macromolecules. Then fatty acids, we get fats, monosaccharides, carbohydrates. Fatty acids, so simply you can say monosaccharides so we'll get this carbohydrates, you can say here monoglycerides. You will see in your textbook it's given monoglycerides, they make fat. Okay, so it's like this. So we will discuss one by one. First is amino acids. So here is the structure of simplest amino acid, which is glycine. Glycine is the simplest amino acid. Now you have to learn the structure, you have to practice the structure. Okay, we have one carbon attached. Okay, and if you know in your class 10 chapter 4 carbon compounds, you have studied that carbon can bond with 4 other elements or atoms. Okay, so that's why I have made here 4 bonds. So first bond is occupied with COOH, that is carboxylic group. Okay, then next bond is, this is amino group. Okay, then third is hydrogen, simple, and fourth is hydrogen. But sometimes this is it's a simple amino acid, but sometimes what happens, one H is replaced by some R group. And what is that R group? R group means carbon compounds. Suppose the simplest one here, we have added CH3. You know this is methyl. Okay, if you know, you have already studied this methyl group. If 2 are there, then ethyl, 3 are there, propyl. Okay, so this is the R group. It can be sometimes if H is present. Okay, here that means it is glycine. Here if R is present, that means it is different. One H will always be there, but one will be maybe replaced by the R. Okay, R group. So when methyl is present, the name is alanine. Okay, so you can go through these structures. Now if the amino acid, this AA means amino acid. Okay, if the amino acid is basic in nature, that is example lysine. If the amino acid is acidic, then the example is glutamic acid. If it is neutral, neither acidic nor basic, that means it is tyrosine. These are the examples of the amino acids. Okay, Now there is a very important topic here, structure of Zwitter ion. This can be asked in your exam also. So you have to read this properly. What is Zwitter ion actually? Nothing but it is the structure of amino acids. See, here I have written, don't get confused. I have written here this H, okay, together with C, okay. I can even write like this, but I have written like this. So the structure is same. Here it is R group, this one you can write up and down, it's your choice, okay. One is carboxylic group and one is amino group, as you can see. What happens actually, sometimes this ionic, this is actually its property. Sometimes this carboxylic acid group na, this hydrogen of its hydrogen sometimes shifts or transfers to the amino group. What happens then? It is NH2, it becomes NH3. You can write hydrogen here also, don't get confused, I have written there, so it's like that. Now adding of additional hydrogen, it will become NH3, but you know, when more hydrogen is added, it gets positive sign, right? And when something is lost, we get negative sign. That means in the same structure of amino acid, we have ionic formations, and this formation of ions, where in same structure we have positive as well as negative ion, this ion is called as Zwitter ion, okay. That's important. Now next, this was about the amino acids. Now next is fatty acids. Fatty acid structure, see, this is this structure of fatty acids. We have methyl group and so many carbon compounds. It can be 14, 15 depending, but the last one always be carboxylic acid group. So this is the example of palmitic acid. This is palmitic acid structure having, this is 14 carbons, but here one more, so it gets 15, and then one more of carboxylic acid, 16. That means palmitic acid has total number of 16 carbon atoms, okay. But these acids, fatty acids, can be saturated and unsaturated. Saturated means when carbon and carbon, different carbon atoms join together through a single bond, and they can be unsaturated when joined through double bond like this, okay. So this is the structure. Now we will move on to the next. See, simple lipid, fatty acid, lipids, all are same thing. Simple lipid here is glycerol, and this is the structure. Here I have drawn it more clearly, okay. You can see 3 carbon atoms are there. All the 3 carbon atoms are joined by alcohol group, okay, OH, 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 and the others are having hydrogens occupied, okay. This is the glycerol structure. Sometimes the question is asked, why the oil, okay, oil is also the lipid, why oils they are always liquid at room temperature, why? Because they have low melting points, okay. So in winters also they remains as oil, they never gets changed into solid form like ghee or butter, okay. Now if lipids have phosphorus, those lipids are called as phospholipids, okay. You have already discussed the fluid mosaic model, cell membrane, okay. So those are also the lipids but having phosphorus in them. Then next is, see, all these things are already given in your textbook, so you should read that also carefully. Primary metabolites. Primary metabolite means those molecules which are essential for your body building, okay. Like we have discussed amino acids, lipids, fats, all these things, okay. Why they are important? What is the role? Physiologically important in different processes of your body, okay. So many things are going on inside. Respiration is going on, digestion, circulation, excretion, nervous system is functioning, okay. So that's why these are the main, so we always call them primary metabolites. Whereas secondary metabolite means there are some rubber, oil, scents, gums, etc. They usually act as human welfare, for goodness of our, we obtain usually from outside source. Rubber is not found inside, okay. So it's like that. Now actually next topic is biomacromolecules. As the name suggests, macro means bigger sized molecules. So those molecules which are bigger in size, like I told you, combining amino acids we get protein, then nucleic acids, DNA, RNA, okay. Nucleic acid means DNA, RNA. We get them from nucleotides, okay. I explained you earlier. Polysaccharides, polysaccharide means carbohydrates, okay, and lipids. These are macromolecules. What are micro? Micro means small, okay? Those molecules whose weight, molecular weight is less than 1000 Dalton. This is the actual way to define macromolecules, okay? The unit of the molecular weight which we take here, this is Dalton, okay? So less than 1000 Dalton. Whereas biomacromolecules are having the molecular weight more than 1000 Daltons, okay? And keep this thing in mind. You have done that experiment now. You have studied that filtrate is there, which is acid soluble, and there is retentate, which is acid insoluble. So the biomacromolecules will be what? Here the biomacromolecules, see, this is filtrate, right? So the bigger sized molecules are not able to get filtrate, okay? So they will be retentate. That means macromolecules will always be acid insoluble, okay? So acid soluble will be micromolecules, which are smaller molecules. They will easily pour through the cloth, okay? This thing you should know. So with this we'll close this video here. Next video we will discuss about proteins, okay? And listen, I have already highlighted the important things in your book, so you also underline those things, and whenever I give you a lecture, it's your duty to learn it properly, to read it properly. Only then you will able to understand, okay? Okay then, thank you, and please keep watching, and if you like my video, subscribe it and share it with your friends. Okay, thank you.